So here we are, book 5. Only 2 more books to go and we'll be caught up with the series. And then I have to find something else to read. Oh, wait a second. I got Christmas presents. So look for those in January 2026. Yes, I got a pile of Christmas presents. I got incoming boxes. We'll have to see what's going on with them. This is book 5. Dying in a Winter Wonderland. Mary owns the Christmas novelty shop where she has promoted Jackie to assistant, and Jackie has become really, really, really bossy, and it's gone to her head, and she's harassing Crystal, the other shopkeeper. So you know what Crystal does? She says to Mary, "I've got to quit. I can't work with this harassing bitch anymore. It's gone to a head." And because Mary's always running off to investigate something, Mary's never there either. So Jackie is kind of running the store all by herself. So, got Mary, got her mom and dad, Noelle and Aileen. We've got Jackie, her best friend. We've got Jack and Grace Olsen, the owners of the Yuletide Inn. Alan is the toy maker and her boss. Russ is the newspaper reporter, or he actually owns the newspaper. Diane Simmons is the detective who's in charge of the whole case, and she's really good to Mary when Mary wants to help out. And Kyle is Jackie's boyfriend, and he's a pain in the caboose. But anyways, we start the book off, and we're really not exactly sure how it happened. But this really rich girl, or the supposedly rich girl, or supposedly very, very spoiled young lady, Luann, has conned Mary into being her wedding coordinator. Now, why she didn't hire a real wedding coordinator, I do not know. But she hired Mary, a storekeeper, to be her wedding coordinator. Go figure that one. So anyway, Mary doesn't want to do it, and she's trying to back out of it, and she really doesn't want to do it, and she wants to talk to the chick and say, "Look, I've decided no, I don't want to do this." Because it's supposed to be a big, huge June wedding, right? So the girl comes to her and she goes, "Hey, guess what? The Yuletide Inn, the most perfect place in the whole wide world to get married, had a Valentine's Day cancellation. I'm going to get married in 2 months. And I want you to come with me to tell my folks that we're moving the wedding up to 2 months." And Mary doesn't want to do it, but she does it anyway. And she has this big Christmas Eve thing planned with Alan. But she has to stop off at Luann's place to be there when Luann tells her parents about the Yuletide Inn being available and them being able to have more guests. And she's supposedly marrying this big billionaire guy, this guy Jeff. And Jeff doesn't care when it is. He just wants to show up. Luann can do everything. Her parents have a thing with it, but there's an issue there. So there's some more wedding planning that needs to be done. They need to go to the Yuletide Inn and sit down and pick a cake and a menu for the day. And Mary has to be there because she just has to be there. Luann insists she has to be there. The bride and the mom can't do it by themselves. They have to have Mary there too. So Mary goes there. Oh, and also her brother's in town for Christmas. She has 3 siblings, and we never. This is the first time we've seen Chris. There's also 2 others, Eve and Carol. So Mary goes to the inn, and she gets there a few minutes early, and she really doesn't want to have any part with it. And she's walking around the grounds and taking pictures of the grounds and thinking about wedding ideas. And she hears a scream. She runs around the corner. There's her brother leaning over a dead guy, and her brother's got blood on his hands because he tried to assist. Oh, good God. So call the cops, and her brother is the number 1 suspect, like the entire book. And this is one of those cases where Um, Sometimes the killer is on stage, all like present in the story, the whole book, and sometimes it's a "Hi, I'm here. Goodbye, see you later. Hi, I'm here. See you later." Or sometimes then they're in the beginning and they're at the end and nowhere in between. This one, the killer is, "Hi, how you doing? Let's do stuff." And a couple of days later, "Hi, how you doing? Let's do stuff." So it's one of those hit and miss killers. He's like the killer is hit and miss. Shows up every now and then. So she's dealing with this Luann chick, and Luann is devastated. She's like, in the meantime, one of the reasons I skipped over this part. One of the reasons that Chris is the prime suspect was because that previous night, when Mary was at the house, well, at her family's house, Luann had gotten smashed and had decided that she was in love with Chris, her high school sweetheart, and she wanted to marry him and not the billionaire. And Chris is like, no, 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 I want nothing to do with it. I have a life, blah 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 blah. And at that same point, Jeff, the fiance, comes over and takes a swing at Chris, and there's a big, huge fight in front of all the family. So that's why he's the prime suspect the next day with the murder. And all this stuff goes on. Then this other chick shows up in town, and it turns out she was a former girlfriend for like 2 minutes, and she became a stalker of Jeff. And sometimes you think she might have done it. Then there's a big, huge cat fight or girl fight in Mary's store. Mary has a lot of glass in her store, so a lot of glass got broken. So hopefully the parties involved will pay for that. And Chris is like the main suspect for like 90% of the book. And there's also this thing with the other town, that metal town over there. They want to build an amusement park to bring in tourists. And Luann's dad happens to own some land, and he wants them to buy this land for a lot of money because apparently he has money problems. And apparently Jeff is the business person with the brains. And with his death, his father's company is going to go down the tube unless his father can get somebody with brains to run it again. So there's a lot of money. There's a secondary plot in the background that's really not resolved. It's an ongoing thing. It's been an ongoing thing for a while. And it's probably going to continue in all the books. The situation with Muddle, and the situation with the mayor's husband having an affair with a person in Muddle, and some people in Randolph, which is the town where Mary lives, having issues with Muddle, or trying to help them financially, whatever. There's a secondary, third minor plot. It's an ongoing plot. It's not resolved every book. It's a continuing plot. And Mary's dragging Vicki into all this stuff. But I think Mary needs to get a manager, a real manager for her store, if she's going to be absent so much. Or she needs to sit down and have a chat with Vicki. And I don't think the chat with Vicki will help in any way, shape, or form. Vicki's up here with her opinion of herself. And Mary's got to do something about it. Because if Mary wants a successful business, let's say it gets more successful, and she needs to hire 1 or 2 more part-time employees, she can't leave Vicki in charge of those people, because Vicki will just devastate them, bully them to death. And that's not right either, so we'll have to see how that goes. And then there's an additional situation going on here. But there's a couple of different situations going on here. We'll have to see what happens. But then they have a high school reunion at a local bar, because everybody from high school came home for Christmas for their families, and some of them haven't been home in years. So they all meet up at this bar, and a situation happens there too. So, and like I said, Chris is the main suspect, and Mary's running all over town trying to solve this murder on him. And Luann is making all her demands and stuff like that. And she's slowly coming around. And then there's this other guy that's like, oh, now that Jeff is out of the way, it's my turn. And Luann's like, no, But he's cozying up to her. He's trying his gut, and she's still aiming for Chris. She's just all over Chris, trying to convince Chris that he's the one for her. So there's other stories going on there too. So we'll have to see what happens. But of course, Chris didn't do it because he's the sibling of Mary, but he maintains the whole the prime suspect for most of the book. But Diane doesn't really treat him as a prime suspect. She doesn't lock him up or anything because she knows that he didn't do it. So we've got 2 more books. Have Yourself a Deadly Little Christmas and A Sleigh Ride Together with You. And then we'll be up to date. Is this? I need to look. Let's see. Oh! I've got to go look. There's got to be an 8th book. This is 2024. So maybe there's an 8th book coming out at Christmas. I'll have to look and see if one came out. Wouldn't that be fun? I can find an 8th book. I'll have to look. You know what? I was looking at December releases, and there was a Vicki Delany on it. I'll have to go look and see if it's the Christmas book or the Sherlock. Because she does do the Sherlock series. She does a couple different series. So we'll have to go see. But I am enjoying the heck out of these little Christmas pun books. But and Luann drove me crazy. Someone's got to have a talk with that girl. And Mary's got to get a little bit more business sense. She's forever running off, and her poor dog. How does Diane control the dog better than Mary does? That's a little side thing too. But you'll have to read the book to find out all the particulars. Oh, wait a second. Somebody wants to say hello. Where'd she go? Well, she was here a minute ago. She's behind me. Oh, well. Have a good one.